School has been closed for almost 3 months, and Common Sense is finding a way to connect all students. Right now, there's parents sitting at home going, gosh, do I have any common sense? I don't know. The schoolwork is hard. They're having trouble. And that's where you come in to help, which is so important for parents and for kids trying to maneuver this whole online schooling that is still going on. People have to realize that it doesn't stop yet.
No, and in fact, not only does it not stop. The fact is that we're into the summer now, and we all know about the summer slide, and so it's going to be amplified, unfortunately. So it's really going to be important for families to understand that no matter what in the fall, and I think we will be back to school in the fall, parents will meet kids where they're at. Teachers will meet kids where they're at. So parents don't need to really sweat about this idea that they have to be teaching their kids all summer long to get them caught up. There's lots of tools and lots of resources that parents can turn to, because I do think there's going to be fewer summer camps and fewer opportunities, fewer structured opportunities for parents to have their kids doing a variety of things. And so we launched on March 4th, we launched wideopenschool.org, which is really, it's an educational tool. But the whole idea behind it is to provide not just lessons, but activities for kids. We partnered with some of the best organizations that are providing education tools for kids, like Khan Academy, like Scholastic, PBS, the list goes on and on. But on top of that, we also partnered with Apple and Google. They came to us and said, look, you guys have curated this information for parents and teachers and families for 15 years. You need to be the ones that can be the clearinghouse for all of this information. And so in about 2 weeks, we pulled together a variety of partners. It's evolving, and we keep adding, obviously, to it. And then we will shift into sort of that idea of what can we do over the summer.
Right. You also surveyed teens, because they were kind of struggling themselves, because I didn't realize some of these teenagers, pretty much counted on going to school to help them, and now they're online. It's a little difficult for some.
Yeah, it really is. High school, and I don't, if you remember back to when you were in high school, it was such a fun time for a lot of students. And, this idea of teens especially, and that's who we surveyed. We surveyed over 800 teens across the country. And really, we found a couple of things. Number one, they really are feeling isolated and alone despite social media. And so that's a problem. Number two, we found that in Latino communities, and in homes where there's concern about the pandemic and family members getting sick and not being able to bring in that paycheck and perhaps not even put food on the table, that was a big concern. And then the other thing, too, that we found, and that wasn't just with the survey, although it came out in the survey, is that we have a huge problem with the digital divide in our country and in Arizona. And the fact is that there are students that really want to learn and they really want to be successful, but unfortunately they don't have access to either Wi-Fi or devices or both. And so we actually also launched a campaign called Connect All Students. And the goal behind that campaign is to really get some of these stories from teachers and from parents, and then put some pressure on our government leaders and put some pressure on Washington to say, look, it is so important for these students who live not just in rural areas and low-income areas, but all over the country that don't have access to devices or or Wi-Fi. I don't know about you, but I don't think I could ever do a science project on a cell phone. So.
No.
So it's a challenge. And so we're working on a lot of different fronts as a nonprofit organization, the advocacy piece of it. And then, of course, providing resources for families and teachers through Wide Open School and through our website. And then we have a digital citizenship curriculum, when kids are in school, that they can sort of, teachers can use that to teach kids, how to behave online. And so we know now kids are online a lot. out, and it's exploded. And so we don't want to forget about those guidelines. We don't want to forget that we put those rules in place, for a reason. And so we, as parents, want to make sure that, that we're paying attention to that as well.
So how can people find out more about the programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So commonsensemedia.org is our website, and then wideopenschool.org is the education portal that I talked about. And so it's divided for both families and for educators, as well as different grade bands and ages. So if you have, a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old, you can go right to that site and say, what are some activities? One of the key features on that site is a daily schedule, because it's really important. I don't know about you, but I still like routine. And, routines can be very comforting for kids, and even more comforting for parents who are juggling so many different things. And so having that schedule and having that routine that everybody's on the same page and knows, that's kind of one of the highlights of that site. So
Great. Awesome. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.